Good morning,
and welcome to INC,
the Anything and Everything International News Network. I'm Laurel Ledesma.
And I'm Annalyn Molina, here with today's news.
This just in, the Great Emu War has come to an embarrassing defeat. 20,000 emus have been wreaking havoc on the farms of Australian war veterans, and despite many attempts to take care of the vermin on their own, the birds continue to roam the area, eating and trampling crops. The Australian military has called to quell the insanity, but despite their best efforts, it appears the birds have won this great war.
And an update on Africa's economy. Africa's economy has been downfalling due to the Ebola disease that has spread throughout the populated people. The cost of the treatments and vaccines have been over billions of dollars. Now they also have to deal with the expenses of the Zika virus. Will they make it through this economic crisis? More information to come.
Now to special news reporter Estrella Mendez.
What do you have?
In the capital of Brazil, Sao Paulo, protesters protested that they want their president impeached. 500,000 people took part in this protest, and about 1 million people joined the anti-Rousseff demonstration in Rio de Janeiro. In a statement, Rousseff said, "The peaceful character of the Sunday's demonstration shows the maturity of a country that knows how to coexist with different opinions and knows how to secure respect to its laws and institutions." After she rejected the idea of resigning, rallies came to the streets, which they were mad about her rejection of resigning.
Thank you for that, Estrella. In other news, just this morning, North Korea government decided to punish anyone who did not participate to mourn the death of Supreme Leader Kim Jong-II. It's been about 5 years Supreme Leader Kim Jong died, and despite this lengthy period of time, North America is still punishing people for such crimes.
Another special report, the German submarine, the U-1206, has been sunk after a malfunction with a toilet valve, causing the sub to flood with water. The batteries, once soaked, began to release highly toxic chlorine gas, causing the captain to give the order to surface. As fate would have it, this occurred just miles off the Scottish coast. Thus, the men were spotted and taken into captivity. And now to Taylor Helmkamp, live from Cascavel Beach in the northern state of Serra. What do you have for us?
Good morning, INC Channel 7 News. This just in. Russia is taking advantage of neutralism and has defended its policy of supplying arms to both sides of the ongoing fight between Armenia and Azerbaijan. According to Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, if Russia didn't view this fight as an economic opportunity, someone else would. They would buy weapons in other countries and the degree of their deadliness wouldn't change, he told Russian state television, following visits to the capitals of Armenia and Azerbaijan. Both Azerbaijani and Armenian forces are using Russian-supplied artillery, tanks, and other weapons on such a mass scale that they could very possibly wipe each other out completely. This massive use of weapons has not been seen in the Caucasus region since the separatist war ended in 1994, which left Karabakh, officially part of Azerbaijan, under the control of local ethnic Armenian forces and the Armenian military. 75 soldiers from both sides and several civilians have been the casualties of this potentially catastrophic fight, but Russia claims they are trying to promote peace. While they did broker an ineffective truce, it is evident that economically, this war is a golden opportunity for the Russian arms market and potential expansion of their sphere of influence. While Russia is hoping to continue their neutrality and economic growth, both Armenia and Azerbaijan are beginning to be fed up with Russia's disloyalty to either single nation. As a result, the ultimate outcome of this skirmish could escalate into a power struggle and battle of influence as well as arms. Only time will tell. Taylor Helmkamp and Yerevan, Armenia contributed.
This just in. After attempting to resolve the cobra problem in British India, the government has retracted the bounty on said snakes due to members of the colony breeding snakes and then killing them in order to gain the reward. As a result of this retraction, cobra snakes have now become unprofitable in the area, and owners have released them into the wild, thus worsening the problem. What steps the British government plans to take next are still a mystery.
In other news, We just received an important update from Africa. Raw milk breeds a type of fever disease in the eastern side of Africa. This disease is known as brucellosis, a fever disease spread by contaminated milk, a study warned. People often catch the disease by drinking raw contaminated milk. This is caused by consumer preferences and poor dairy processing techniques. Americans always check on the beverage.
This just in, a special news report from Estrella Mendez.
Go. This just in, the captain of a fishing boat spotted a group of 8 people 15 kilometers from Cascavel Beach in the northeastern state of Sahara this Thursday. The group of 8 suffered from dehydration. They were sent to the hospital in Fortaleza, in which 2 remained in the hospital after 6 were released. The 8 men set out 2 weeks ago aboard the fishing boat Rey Arturo, which sank last Sunday near the Fernando de Nora archipelago.
Thank you, Estrella. Now back to Taylor Helmkamp in the field with an update.
Let's go.
Good afternoon, INC Channel 7 News. This just in, Serbian Foreign Minister Ivica Dačić openly announced that it is not good for Croatia to block Serbia's Chapter 23 in the European Union. The tensions between these two nations are once again rising, and each nation is still recovering from previous nationalistic wars. There may be hope in avoiding physical conflict. Croatia's Prime Minister Aleksandar Vučic's visits to Mostar, Serbia, was somewhat successful in helping each country hold their horses and approach this issue in a rational political stance instead of the previous regional instinct to fight each other off. We should not behave as if we do not wish each other well. It is good that Prime Minister Vučić and the Croatian president talked, and I hope the barrage fire that we see here now will soften up eventually, said Dačić. Croatia is willing to step out of the way and not obstruct the European integration process, but their actions of late have not reflected their words. Even though the ministers have agreed to hold meetings on a regular basis, there may very possibly be another Serb-Croat conflict on the rise. Only time will tell. Taylor Helmkamp in Belgrade, Serbia, contributed.
Good morning. Today, President Obama visits Cuba to reconcile with the Cuban people and Cuba's government. The president met with Raúl Castro and never met with Fidel Castro, but Fidel Castro wrote a letter to Obama saying that Obama's words of reconciliation were syrupy. Castro writes about Obama's speech in Havana and crucially goes over Obama's speech line by line. He also pointed critiques of insults and his failure to give credit to Cubans and Castro with his prohibition of racial segregation after being in power in 1959. Castro writes a review about a half-century of U.S. aggressions against Cuba, which he talks about the Bay of Pigs and the bombing of a Cuban airliner.
Good morning, INC Channel 7 News. This just in. Russia, although claiming democracy with traditional ideals, is beginning to use the West's disregard for Eastern and Central Europe to revert back to their sphere of influence tendencies. This activity clearly displays that if something is not done soon, the world could very well be thrown back into a Cold War scenario. The Russian crisis is exemplified due to President Putin's outright statement that the fall of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical crisis of the 20th century, and that Russia soon plans to return to business as usual. This corrupt business includes the use of propaganda, most influentially that of soft power. Soft power is the use of subtle aspects of attraction to essentially brainwash citizens, such as culture, music, art, values, ideals, and policies. The Kremlin, who at one time was faced with the threat of Western soft power, is once again growing into its own strong economic and political power, with expanding influence both within its own borders and abroad. One example of this phenomenon is the RT, formerly Russia Today, a 24-hour news channel that is purely aimed at conservative pro-Putin stories. Putin may be taking advantage of soft power, but it is indisputable that his use of hard power has increased recently. With illegal involvement in Ukrainian separatist riots, the supplying of arms to opposing sides in Eastern Europe, and the continuation of aggression towards former Soviet states, Russia may be setting its own grave in the field of soft power. Will the West open its eyes to the repetition of history before disaster unfolds? Will the Kremlin once again rise to communistic power and influence? Only time will tell. Taylor Helmkamp in Moscow, Russia, contributed.
Go.
Well, it looks like all we have time for today. This is Laurel Ledesma.
And Ana Limonina.
Good morning and thank you for watching INC.